Which way? Which way, Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure. I want to know. Nigeria. Which way, Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way, Nigeria? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way, Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way, Nigeria? Which way, Nigeria? Tell me which way to go. Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Want to know. Which way, Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there, and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way, Nigeria? Which way, Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way, Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way, Nigeria? Green revolution is the reality. This is Starr Radio. Let's join our hands radio so we can have them up to the show. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. This is Starr Radio. In your car, at work, at home, on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide, online, 24/7. Get ready for this. Get ready for this. Get ready for this. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow. A very good evening, and welcome to Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I welcome you to the 18th day of August 2021. And it's exactly 3 minutes past 1800 hours, but I would say 3 minutes past 6 p.m. for those that are listening to us from different part of the globe. If you've just joined us, I would like to take you through the next 2 hours here on Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and I first and foremost like to appreciate all our viewers, our listeners that have been with us, for a very long time, since about 4 years ago when we started this program. I would like to say good evening, Ekrole, Ekale, and welcome as you're settling in for the broadcast that will be coming to us in the next few minutes. Also, I would like to appreciate my producer, Mr. Archie and Frank, and the team that are working tirelessly behind the scene. You might not literally see them all the time. You probably see them in the morning show when we are having our, debates on Nigeria, on the global community, on what is happening to different part of the globe. But one thing I could say is, when you listen to Niger Voices, we tell you the way it is. And the most important thing is, when a lot of you that have been following me, also understand my position with Nigeria of today. That is just my own personal view, not the view of Star Radio UK. And I'm sure we have a lot of people that are looking back to the history of Nigeria. And, just before I was coming on air, I was watching, the colony of Africa, making of Nigeria. I've watched it before, but it's always good to, to go through it again and again, because for every time you watch those kind of program, there's tendency, there's probability that you must have missed something while I was watching it at the beginning some few months ago when I did watch it, and I realized that so much has happened. But a lot of people will say, why do you have to worry yourself? That was history. We can move away from that now. We can move forward. We can turn Nigeria to be one of the best country in the globe, and we can become good people. We are united. I disagree with that. But that is not where we're going tonight. Where we're going tonight is something that I'm sure those of us that believe in the total breakup of Nigeria would understand, that Nigeria has never worked. Bear with us, those of you watching us. Yes, I think we've got the screen up and running now, because we are also streaming on multiple platforms. So you're not just watching me on Star Radio UK, which I want you to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want you to also subscribe to our Facebook. Make sure you follow us, because the only way you can enjoy Star Radio UK and all the other presenter is to download the app. You know what? When you download the apps, it gives you everything that you can think of as well. But this evening, the 18th day of August 2021, yesterday was 120 days of activating the people's power. What do you understand by that? What have you really gained when it comes to activating the people's power? My name is Olayomi Koiki, and you're welcome as you're settling in on all the platforms. We are live on Twitter, we are live on Twitch, we are live on Instagram. Is it not amazing that we are also live on the MixLR? That is the beauty of the technology, that Nigeria seems to be going backwards. I was listening to not listening, rather. I was reading about what Sanusi. Remember him? I'm sure some of you remember him. Whether you remember him as the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria or the dethroned Emir of Kano. He was having a big trouble with the Emir of Kano. With the governor of Kano for some of this, his word that he was using while he was then the previous governor of Kano. And he said a couple of things. Part of what he said: good evening to you, Oloyede Bede. Good evening to you, Ibukun. Good evening to you, Abdul Wahab Adeyemi Olutayo. Good evening, Alabi Bashiru. Good evening, Sadiq Alabi. Good evening, Shina Yusuf. Good evening. Good evening to those of you in Libya. Good evening to those of you in Cotonou in Benin Republic. We'll be telling you more about all the latest news. Who that like the rumor? So much rumor about the judge that was killed, that was kidnapped. All that has now been debunked by the lawyer representing the 12 that is still in the hands of the DSS. So I'll be reading that statement as well, and that statement is already in circulation as well. Please, we are pleading with you. If you have listened to an audio this morning that has been telling you about somebody have died, a judge was kidnapped, and all, that is all bogus lies. And all I can say to you is, please debunk that immediately so that we do not get distorted. Bear with me there. I had to take off my camera for about a few seconds because there was a little bit of noise from the background. And then, I mean, I don't know whether you can see my beautiful outfit. I know my camera is not really picking it, but I love my outfit. Yoruba Nation now. No going back. We have the right to self-determination. Okay, if I like to tell the studio to just take me out for about 1 minute so that I can deal with something behind the scene here. Once again, this is Star Radio UK, just for less than a minute. If Archie would like to take me off the screen. Once again, this is Star Radio UK. I welcome you all as you're joining us on this broadcast. While I'm waiting, for my producer, or if otherwise, I would rather say that's fine. What I could do is we could do it the other way around here, and then we will be able to just switch off the camera. But I want you to listen to this while I'll be coming back in just less than a minute. Once again, it is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's listen to this while I get you ready for the program this evening. All right, we're back on the seat, and that is one of my favorite there, Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation. I'm sure some of you know that that's track very well. Let's hear a little bit of it while we are settling into the program. I welcome you all. Florence Abiodun Harry, good evening to you. Dare, good evening Oladipupo, good evening Olabisi Saka, good evening to you. Adeshola, good evening Ade, that's a very beautiful name. Good evening to all our Biafra brothers and sisters. Good evening to those of you at the Middle Belt, and good evening to everyone. Good evening to Mr. Michael Awe. I know him very well, a big uncle. Good evening to those of you in Canada. Good evening to those of you in Ghana. Good evening to those of you in Uganda, in Kenya, and majority of you in southwest of Yoruba land. As we are settling in, we have not gone into the full program this evening. We're just settling in. It's 12 minutes past 18th of August 2021. It's Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I say good evening to those of you that have joined us on Instagram. Welcome as you're settling in. Good evening to those of you that are watching us. It is all about Nigeria. Like I said, just some 2 hours before I was coming on air, I was watching again the colony of Africa. I hope I got that right. It is the making of Nigeria, which is the journey of an African colony. Have you watched it? It is by by Olashupo Shashore. What a very fantastic making of how Nigeria is what we call Nigeria today. It's good to watch if you haven't watched it, but you have to have Netflix for you to be able to watch it. Like I said, Star Radio UK, we are also on YouTube, and I welcome those of you that are already watching us on YouTube. I say good evening and welcome as we're settling in for the program this evening. Yesterday was all about the 120 days, the making of Nigeria. 120 days has expired. Today makes it 541 days, 6 hours, 45 minutes, 47 seconds to the next general election. But I say no election in Nigeria 2023. Do you think that is going to happen? Especially with the dispute of the 1999 Constitution. That is what we're going to be discussing this evening. 544 days, or sorry, 541 days before that next election. But with the dispute that we have on the 1999 Constitution brought together by the indigenous people of the owner of the land, I'm going to be reading some of the statement, the press release that came out yesterday. We all watched it, but I'm going to be talking about that. So it is all about this evening, 1999 dispute constitution against the 2023 general election in Nigeria. What do you think about that? Let's hear more from Asiko Tito. Asiko Tito, if you do music, wow, you're probably missing something there. Let's go back into that music. Also, there is a proposed constitution that has been brought together by the Yoruba Alliance. I'm going to be giving a background of that as well. Bear with me. It is a proposed constitution drafted together by the Yoruba Nation Strategic Alliance. Have you downloaded? Have you gone through it? Do you know what is inside? Or do you know what is inside the 1999 Constitution that has become a dispute? And that, on that basis, a lot of people are saying we should and must not go for another election in the next 541 days. What do you think about that? Benny. Oh, yes. Hey. Oh, happy birthday to our brother Akonda Oro Awikonko. Is his birthday today. We wish him long life and prosperity from this end. Like I said, the Yoruba nation that we are talking about, the Yoruba nation that we are discussing on a daily basis on different platforms. I say good evening to my very beautiful mother. I've just spotted her. I won't tell you which part of the platform she's watching from, but I can already see her. I say good evening, mother, as you're watching the program. Good evening to all our mothers, all our fathers, our grandmothers. The Making of Nigeria. Have you watched it? It is called Journey of an Africa Colony by Olashupo Shashore. When I was reading what the former Central Bank of Nigeria, the dethroned Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, telling us that we are now gone back to 35 years, just like when Shehu Shagari was in power. A lot of us was probably not born there. Some of us are probably little baby, and I'm sure some of our parents will tell us what they had to go through when Shehu Shagari was then. The president of Nigeria is not the president now, but the dethroned former Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi, is telling us that the parity between the Nigerian has literally look. So that let me give you a basic example. If you're following the situation in Lebanon, so your wages or your salary that you are getting today as a teacher, as a lecturer, whatever job you're doing in Nigeria, your salary will be equivalent to when Shehu Shagari was in power. Think about that. The indigenous people and the indigenous people of the owner of the land are saying that we should not allow another election that is meant to be coming up in Nigeria in the next 541 days from today. I've been saying the big player just before as I was coming on air. I was watching, the former Senate President Bukola Saraki just arriving at one of the hotel in Abuja with some of their former present, senator of the PDP. They're probably all preparing to give us, who is going to be the next president, from PDP, if that PDP is going to be existent before then, or the APC that have gone into turmoil. There's a lot of crises in that political party. And the same thing, a lot of the indigenous owner of the land. Who are the indigenous owner of the land? Sometimes you probably need to watch The Journey of an African Colony if you haven't seen that before. Good evening to you once again as we're settling in. In just about 2 minutes, I'll be going straight into the full program. I welcome you all as you're all settling in. Who are the Fulanis? Who are the Fulanis? Yeah, please wish happy birthday to our brother Akonda Awikonko Oro. It's his birthday today, and we wish him happy birthday from Starr Radio UK, and myself, we say happy birthday to Akonda Awikonko and anyone celebrating their birthday in the month of June. Oh, sorry, in the month of August. All right, so that we do not waste so much time because there's quite a lot to discuss this evening, and by the time you realize that the time is just moving as very fast as you might think of. Let me first give us the update from what our lawyer representing the 12 at the Abuja with the DSS. A press statement, public notice. You must have listened to that audio. I don't know who sat down and decided that, let me just make this audio and send it out, and maybe it will send a kind of a panic to a lot of the Yorubas that are already worried about their loved ones that have been kept over 50 days with the DSS. So when that audio came out, and as you can tell, people like us, so many people will start calling you. Oh, Yomi, have you listened to that audio? Even one of the bloggers have also put it on their YouTube channel and made a kind of a narrative around it. And these are damaging to a case that is still pending at Abuja as we speak right now. So we've got to be very, very careful when we are putting out such information, because you might also be having, a crisis in our hands. So I will advise anyone this evening, after listening to me, please do not send that audio to me or any other media, or do not circulate it, because when you circulate that audio, you are also circulating something that it is not true. So once again, public notice with respect to the ongoing matter relating to Chief Sunday Igbowo's aid. Who are these aid? These are the 12 people, the Lady K, the Omiyale, and the Ola and the Ayobamis and the Taiwo, the Emir, Oladele, and the rest of them that have been taken away for the last 50 days, and we are now, putting their bill together. But somebody sat down and decided, okay, I'm going to make an audio, send it out. I don't want to go into the details of the audio, but let us focus on the message that the legal representative have asked me to pass on to every single sons and daughters of Yorubas. Please remember, this is a very, very important message. And after listening to me, do not send me that audio. Do not circulate it anymore. We're not going to speak Yoruba because this is Starr Radio UK. This is not my own program yet. But at 7:30, when we have the program switched to Yoruba Nation, everything about Yoruba Nation, be rest assured, we'll be speaking Yoruba. Good evening once again. So let me go quickly into that. We have received several calls and messages across the globe trying to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of some media reports currently in circulation on social media and news outlets, particularly outside the country, with respect to the above subject matter. It is therefore become imperative for us to put up this public notice so as to set the record straight. The report that the honorable judge handling the matter was kidnapped by unknown gunmen is not only false but commendable, as same is far from the truth. The report that the said honorable judge traveled out of town in an attempt to evade signing the release warrant of the applicant is equally commendable, and we do not want to be part of such reports. Also, let it be known that where a judge is absent under such circumstances, any other judge within the Federal High Court can sign the release order, and that is in the process. The process of perfecting the bail conditions of those in custody is still in progress in accordance with the rules and practice of the Federal High Court of Nigeria, and we are confident that the release order will be signed as soon as all administrative bureaucracies are concluded. We therefore appeal to the general public to exercise patience with the process. Thank you. Signed, Pelumi Olajengbesi, ESQ, Counsel in Matter. So now that we have found out that it's got nothing to do with the judge has run away and all these, messages that have been circulating in the last 48 hours. So we are pleading now to all our listeners, whether you are Nigerian, whether we believe we are no longer Nigerian, we believe that we are the indigenous people, the real owner of the land. So let's move forward now. Thank you very much all the way from US Royal Suit Hotel. I'm not sure that's your name, but probably maybe that's one of your hotels in America. Good evening to you, Terry Omo Alade. Let's say good evening to those of you watching us on Starr Radio UK as well. I say good evening to you, Dayo Yusuf. Welcome to the broadcast. Who are the indigenous owner of the land? Is it the politicians? Is it your governor? Is it your senator or your House of Representatives? Are they the political parties? So the topic this evening is, and I want to read as many comments during the program, whether those of you watching us on YouTube, on Instagram, let us find out, is it enough bringing down a 1999 constitution versus 2023 upcoming election in the next 541 days? Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. Thank you very much, Barbara. Good evening to all our Biafra brothers. Samson Adekunle, good evening to you. Nash Ola, welcome to the program. TT, good evening to you. Watching us all the way from Russia. What an interesting thing to know. I've talked about USSR so many times. 15 countries came out of Soviet Union 30 years ago. December 26, 1991. So yesterday, we've all followed the conversation around these force majeure. It's called the constitutional force majeure. What do we understand by the constitutional force majeure? The constitutional force majeure gives us a background, an understanding of who we are before. A lot of people do not even know that we were something before the making of Nigeria. And that is why I am advising every one of you that is watching me this evening, if you do have access to how to watch The Journey of an African Colony by Olashupo Shashore, please do so. It will give you a broader knowledge and understanding of the making of Nigeria. And you will be pleased with me by the time we come up, to see each other again. So many Nigerians do not understand how did we get to become Nigeria or Nigerians? But you can only understand that by going to watch a kind of a movie like that. It's not a movie, it's a documentary. 1999 Constitution is a total fraud. So does that mean that now that the 1999 Constitution is in dispute, would that be enough to stop the 2023 general election that the political gladiators are already moving around, shifting their bodies? Would that be enough to stop it? Nigeria election is coming up in the next 541 days from today. I have watched and listened to different political commentators. I have followed all the political parties. Let's first look at what they're talking about, what they are saying regarding the 2023. Some groups demand referendum and oppose election. Are you part of those? Are you one of those that believe that we must now oppose the 2023 general election based on the 1999 Constitution that is now in a dispute? The group appealed to political parties to save Nigerians from enslavement by refusing to submit candidates to the Independent National Electoral Commission, also known as INEC. I remember Starr Radio UK was on ground before the 2019 election as an observer. The Nigerian Indigenous Nationality Alliance for Self-Determination, known as NINAS, says no election will hold in the country unless the federal government agrees to hold a referendum for all self-determination groups in the country. The process of ending the Constitution has already expired. If you've been following Nina since December 16 last year. My question is, the disputed 1999 Constitution by the indigenous people, Ninas, those that request referendum, self-determination, would that be enough to stop the 541 days before the 2023 general election? According to the chairman, Professor Banji Akintoye, speaking at a press conference in Lagos yesterday after the 120 days expired, election is altered in 2021. The 1999 Constitution will lose its life and we would immediately get into transition and therefore in the way to regional referendum for self-determination. While I was looking at watching this documentary that I've been telling you about, I've watched it before, but I decided to watch it, again. I've just finished watching the first episode, and I've taken down so much notes that I'll be discussing and deliberating with you, my listeners from different parts of the globe, whether you are in Jakarta, whether you are in Malaysia, whether you are listening to me from Australia, whether you are watching me from your big screen in somewhere in Canada, Ontario, whether you're watching me from Turkey, whether you are in Greece, wherever you are across the globe. My question, believe it or not, this is now on the table. We have a disputed 1999 Constitution. It is not just Ninas talking about it. More individuals like Pastor Paul Adefarasin is also, discussing it, that we must not go into another election based on that scam 1999 Constitution. Good evening to you, Mamawa Stella Ojo. Somebody have disagreed that no, that cannot be possible. Big lie. Could you please emphasize, elaborate? Israel on YouTube have disagreed that the constitution that is in dispute does not have enough weight to stop the election, that the political gladiators are already working and have big investment. And when I say big investment, you all know what it entails and what it takes when it comes to the general election. This is where the big player spends so much money. So my question again is, can we stop a general election? Wow, I've just been told that one of my big big mom is also watching me from America. A very big mother of mine watching me from America. Iya Ibeji. Thank you very much, mother. Wow, beautiful. It's good to know that she's watching. How long have you been watching me? I'm sure she's like, wow. So Olayomi, so you can be doing all these. Well, the most important thing is we all have different fields. Some people want to be doctors, engineer, chemistry. I would love to go to the moon where I can take KOIKIMEDIA and Star Radio UK together and we drive to the moon, just like Virgin Boss is already working towards that. Good evening to you and thank you very much. Really love you watching me all the way from America. Good evening to those of you in Lagos, in Kwara, those of you watching us in the northern part of the country. My question to you now, you have the opportunity to engage me. Do you think the disputed 1999 Constitution, thank you very much to my beautiful mother as well, and all my mothers, I have a lot of them. I hope you love my outfit. I'm going to stand up one more time just to show you. This is it. It's called Yoruba Nation. Do you believe or think that the disputed 1999 Constitution is more than enough to stop the general election that is coming up? Professor Banji Akintoye, Emeritus Professor of History, was represented by Don Pedro Obaseki. This is a safe route to freedom for all constituent blocs that are fed up with the toxic Nigerian Union. Do you think Nigerian Union is toxic? I've gone back to watch that program I told you about, the documentary. And when I went back to 1949, during the mining era of Nigeria, in 1949, do you know that so many of those miners were killed in 1947, 4th of November, when they were demanding a better wages, boots, increment in their salary? We now have 36 states that have not been able to pay 36,000 naira. Probably maybe 5 or 6 states have been doing so. We must agree and disagree. If somebody said no, that constitution cannot bring it down, let him or her express their view. It will be good to hear. Good evening to you, Kathy. I'll be giving you some background. Lancaster House in London between 1950 and 1960 determined the independence of Nigeria that we are calling Nigeria today. In 1957, just after the war in 1945, there was an African conference. By 1953, the nationalists gathered here at Lancaster House here in London to determine the fate of Nigeria. Oh, it's 30,000 naira, not 36. Thank you very much, Gregory. But how many states in Nigeria have been able to pay that? That is not where we are going tonight. Where we are going tonight on this program on Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Once again, a very good evening. Yoruba Nation is bigger than every single individual. And I'm sure it's a movement that is bigger than Professor Banji Akintoye. It's bigger than every single one of us. And there's no doubt about it. Good evening to you, Taiwo Falari. So no one has abandoned Chief Sunday Igboho. Chief Sunday Igboho will be pleased that the constitution that we are also discussing is about to go in drain. And that will stop the 1999 constitution that was a military decree by Abdulsalam Abubakar and his cronies. And that led us to the first individual that used that constitution, which was the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And every 4 years, we were renewing that constitution that was a fraud, a scam. Once again, a very good evening. Will the APC listen to this? Will the PDP, AFGA, COA, AAC, all these political parties? Do you know that there were only 8 political parties when they were going to that election in 1959? We only had 8 political parties. Now we probably have about maybe 200, but I don't even know how many we have now. All these politicians just kept on registering more political parties to create chaos. My question is, 2023 election will be difficult for APC chieftains. I'm now looking at what the political parties are saying as well. As we continue to talk about what the indigenous people are discussing, let us hear the view of what the actor, the gladiator, the political machineries are also preparing. The Yorubas and the Southeast are demanding that the election coming in 2023, the presidency must rotate back to the Southwest. Do you think those in the North will allow that? The 2023 election will be difficult for APC. The election of 2019 and 2014 that led to Jonathan being removed was a union that brought President Muhammadu Buhari to power. Remember, he tried from 2017, 2011. It could not succeed until the national leader of the APC brought him in, and that gave him that pathway to win that election, even though we know that we also have influence from the international community that were against Jonathan as at that time. But the ball is changing. Imagine, Messi have now moved from Barcelona to PSG. That means the game pattern will change. The mode of playing that he has been used to when he was in Barcelona will definitely change, because the way PSG plays their football is different from the way Barcelona were playing their football. Now that we have the indigenous owner of the land dragging with the politicians, who is going to win the battle? Who's Balawa? Good evening. Good evening to you, those of you at Badagry. Good evening to those of you in Ondo State. Good evening to my family back home, and good evening to your family as well. Somebody say Yoruba or not, no election in 2023. Good to know that. So even without a Yoruba, there's still going to be no election. I love that. I need more comments. Let me read more of your comment. Florence, good evening to you. Once again, good evening to all our viewers. According to the chieftains of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State, Chief Tony Okocha has predicted that it will be difficult for the party to win 2023 presidential election. Why do you think APC will even find it difficult to win election in 2023? There's a lot of wrangling among them, just like so many wrangling with the PDP. APC, PDP, Nina's indigenous owner. Wow, we have 3 people going into 2023. One of them say, no, we cannot go into any other election with the disputed constitution. I'm not sure your senator or someone that wants to become the next governor of Lagos State is interested in that. But what about those that are not also interested in that election? It's going to be an interesting one in the next 541 days in the history of Nigeria. What do you think is going to happen? Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It's exactly 1843, 18th of August 2021. Somebody say what we need now is our nation. We're not interested in zoning the presidency. But the presidency, the northern part of the country said, hey, we are not yet done. We still want to be part of the president. We want the power to remain in the north. This is Niger Voices. This program has been coming to you every Wednesday in the last 4 years. I remember when the 2019 election was coming, we had Amoyele Showore in the studio. We had, so many of them, Even I had one of the female contestants. I can't remember her name now. I had Fela Durotoye in the studio with me. I had some of the governorship aspirants. But Chief Tony Okocha, as predicted, is the chieftain of APC in Rivers State, that it will be difficult for even APC to win election in 2023. Do you agree with that? The Northerners have been cheating us for too long. We must not let them continue and relegate us to the background, like the US did to the indigenous people of the land, Native American Indian. Good evening to you if you're watching from UAE. Are you aware that Nigeria, those of you in Dubai, will probably will not like this news I'm about to bring to you now, or maybe someone that wants to travel to UAE, because the news coming out is not a very good one. Nigeria has been excluded, as UAE, United Arab Emirates, has now approved 70 countries for visa on arrival, but Nigeria is no longer among them. Good evening to you, Shafar Muhammad. Good evening to you, those of you from Ogun State. Good evening if you're watching me from Ondo State, in any part of the local government. 774 local government. The making of Nigeria all started between 1950 and 1960. But there were some few points I'd like to put out as well. When the white man came, there were 4 strangers. We thought they were traders. We thought they were explorers. Remember all the lies we were told. Mungo Park founded River Niger. All these false lies. And that is the reason why the indigenous owner of the land is now asking us that we must go back to where we are before. What is the Ninas all about? What is the constitutional force majeure all about? Let me give you a little bit of the background. If you're watching me for the first time, this is Niger Voices, and I'd like to also appreciate Oluolu, www.oluolufood.com for all your African food stuff. If you're sending money home, remember to use SendWaves. Remember to use the code S for Star, R for Radio. Taiwo Falari said we should forget and not allow election in 2023, but face our Yoruba nation squarely. But what about those that believe in that election? 544 days, 441 early. Politicians will nowhere to be found. The spirit of the land is very angry. It's very hunger. Wow. That is the new knowledge. Economics pioneer by Yoruba, the most creative and revolutionary, ready to compete globally with the best and the brightest. Yoruba nation now, self-determination, golden age. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. We need to resist all their plan to conduct any election. What are the things that we need to do to resist it? Because the politicians, before the end of this year, will start putting out, their, not just their rights. You're gonna start seeing a lot of movement. They're gonna, how they move like rats. They start, hey, which party is gonna favor me? Should I move back to PDP? Hey, it looks like PDP is doing well. Oh. Let's read what is coming up as well. Good evening for those of you watching us on Instagram. Oladimeji Lawal, good evening. 541 days will be a test for Nigeria or Nigerians. December 16, 2020, the MNN, an alliance of the Middle Belt, Yoruba land, Lower Niger, issued what we now know as a proclamation of the Constitutional Grievances Declaration of Constitutional Force Majeure and demand for transitioning process. That process, according to the statement that came out yesterday in Lagos from Ninas, is telling the government, close your shop, no more party. This is an interesting time to be alive. Who thought, as at last week, that Taliban will be in control of Afghanistan today? Who thought 30 years ago, Soviet Union was going to come down? Are you with me? 1848, 18th of August 2021. It is called Niger Voices every Wednesday on Starr Radio UK. Good evening to you, Shegun. How do we stop the plan of the politician? Because the politicians are going to campaign. Even though they've said we must not campaign, if a Yoruba person or the IPOB or the Middle Belt goes out and start protesting or putting out a rally or whatever, you will be finding yourself in the cell of the Lagos state government or Ogun state or probably with the DSS. But what is going to happen when the politicians start campaigning for their political offices in the next couple of days and months? Do you think it's going to happen? How do you stop it? Weekends are they? Good evening to you. We need to campaign as well to educate our people why they should not vote. That is coming from one of our listeners. We're always with you. No sleeping on a bicycle. Anybody that sleep on the bicycle, you know what is going to happen. Please do not sleep while you're driving. Don't drink and drive. Once again, it is called Naija Voices. The film is now getting interesting. Politicians, Ninas, Yoruba Nation, 3 in 1. Amazing time in the history of the Yorubas, the Biafra, the Middle Belt, and those that still believe in one Nigeria. There are millions of them. Remember, Nigerian is about 209 million, but remember as well, it's the capital poverty of the world. No more Nigeria again, oh, Yoruba Nation now, according to Shakiru. The best way to run away from danger is not a lion den. R.I.P. Nigeria. Good evening to you, Mamawa Olajumoke Semirat. Good evening to those of you in Saudi Arabia. We have Nigerians or Yorubas in Israel. I say good evening to those of you if you're watching me from Jerusalem. Somebody said they are living in Iraq. I don't know if we have a lot of Nigerians in Afghanistan with the situation that is taking place there. It is impossible to continue with the status quo. Strangers. The white man came to Nigeria as strangers. You know, they thought, you know, hey, we don't know this area. Hey. You know, they were explorers. We thought they were curious traders. Eventually, they had a different plan. They were strangers when they first came in 1884, according to history. We thought they were curious traders. They wanted to trade with us, you know, while we were before Nigeria. Somebody say your English is too much. Bear with me. Okay. Make una dey hear me, oh, Abi. You want me to speak the pidgin English? I say politician and the Yoruba and the Biafra and the Middle Belt and the political party 3 in 1. They go eat their head very well before 2023 come. Sit down at home, election day to save your life. Is that going to work? Somebody say make we sit down at home, just like the Biafra are doing presently. Sit down at home. But I'm not sure what happened on Monday. There was a lot of, you know, miscommunication somewhere. Some say Biafra, no sit down at home. Some say sit down at home. Eventually, some people sat down at home. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still with the DSS. His court appearance again will be in October. The latest with Chief Sunday Igboho, I can say, is still pending in Benin Republic. No update yet. We heard the white man came in thinking they were traders, strangers. Eventually they become captors, so-called explorer, and then dubious liberators, and will be partners in nation building. The Western world do not want Nigeria to break. They believe our unity can continue. Thank you very much. The capital poverty is even in the southern part of Nigeria. I've been reading some of your comments, and we are doing a kind of, you know, narrative of what we should expect before 541 days. It's just around the corner. 2023 is a countdown. Let the Yoruba Nation self-determination and the Biafra campaign at the same time with APC and PDP and see who will win. Interesting. Do you agree with that? Shame on the Nigerian government, and America and other countries have evacuated their citizens from Afghanistan. Where is Nigerian government? Do they know what is going on with their citizens? I'm not sure they know how many Nigerians is in Afghanistan. So any Nigerian in Afghanistan, we can only say, please take good care of yourself. Taliban is now in control. Taliban has taken over. Thank you very much, D Balance. So while we continue to discuss all these issues, let me now go back and tell you a little bit about that press release. Again, if you find any audio circulating, just delete it. That audio does not carry any water. I'm sure a lot of us, I'm not sure why somebody sat down and put that audio together. What was the reason behind that? Have you seen the proposed constitution about the Yoruba nation put together by the Yoruba Strategic Alliance? You can download it, and I'm sure some of you must have come across it as well. The Royal Air Force aircraft landed at the RAF with some British citizens and those Afghan translators. I was watching the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, in that debate that went for a very long time. Thank you very much, Babatunde Adeyemi. Somebody say, ah ha ha, by force, we know to do again, no baton. So now we have the politicians, those that want out of Nigeria, and the political parties. How do we manage all these? Do you think the disputed 1999 constitution will be more than enough? Somebody's asking, Mr. Koiki, my question is, are we moving forward concerning towards our goals, consentment, Ninas versus United Nations, please? As you know, Ninas have been doing a lot. And they've done, from what I have listened carefully to them, everything that United Nations have asked them to do. They've been working on this as far back as 2003. So it's not something that just started. Maybe some of us that probably just joined them along the line. Like I said, Yoruba Nation is a movement. It depends on what time you feel like joining. We still have a lot of Yorubas that disagree with us. You must not fight them. We must try to bring them on board and give them the reason why Yoruba Nation is what going for the Nigeria election. Have you seen the Katsina State Governor Masari telling the citizen to buy guns so that you can protect yourself? I can confirm, according to Sarah reporter, Alhaji Lai Mohammed is currently in America. What is he doing there? According to Sarah reporter, it seems he's gone to speak to executive directors of Twitter. Are they preparing for 2023? Ikechukwu said, together Biafra Oduduwa will make Africa great again. We should work towards the UN referendum. If there's going to be one, we must be prepared for it. And that is part of what I'm going to be reading now with the press release, which has been translated to Yoruba as well, for benefit of those of you that would like to have a copy. Once again, it is Koiki Media where you can get that. I won't read the whole lot, but I'm going to go towards the end, which give us part of the conversation or the question a lot of you are asking this evening. Nina's call to action, 1 to 5. So this is what Nina is expecting myself, you, the political parties, our politicians, whether they are in the, whether they're in Ogun State, as your House of Representatives, whether they're in your state, whether it's your governor, to close the party now. Do you think that is going to happen? Do you think that is going to happen? The idea of Ninas versus UN is no brain. Okay. So how do we eventually come out there? We're all asking for a referendum. It's been done before in Sudan in 2011. So it is not new that a country gone through referendum. It was done before. But it was not referendum that break off Soviet Union in 1991, and eventually 15 countries came out of it. Let's go into it. It's just coming up to 7 p.m., 2 minutes before 7 p.m. Again, The Journey of African Colony by Olasupo Shashore is worth watching. Making of Nigeria. It will give you all the background understanding. The beginning of that episode talked about the Enugu miners that were killed in 1947. They were only demanding their right, extra money, boots, and good welfare. But they never got that. Rather, they were killed. It was a human tragedy. Until now, we still have so many human tragedy as we speak across Nigeria. In 1955 to 1960, we had Sir James Wilson Robertson. He was the Governor General of Nigeria. Let's go into Nina's call to action. Number one, knowledge is power. The first task before us all in the period commencing August 18, 2021, which is today, is to help spread this information as well as other related information on the constitutional force majeure amongst the peoples of the Ninas Alliance territory, wherever they are on the face of the earth. So it is all about us. It is about me, you. We must all explain to people, wherever they are, whether they're in Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica. Are you following the situation in Haiti? It's quite depressing. Number two, Ninas direct the regional blocks to advance the processing and ratification of their regional constitutions and chapters in readiness for UN-backed regional self-determination, stay or leave referendum from the distressed Federation of Nigeria. So this is part of what, is going to start coming up now. Each block is advised to put out a constitution readiness for a chapter UN-backed regional self-determination. Do you want to be part of Nigeria? Yes. I don't want to be part of Nigeria. No. Just like UK opt out of European Union after 35 years of their marriage. It all ended on the 31st of January this year. So as a British citizen, you can't just say, I'm going to Spain. You have to look at all the necessary documentation so that you do not land yourself in trouble. If you're doing a business with the European Union, you have to look into so many different documents that is still being worked together as we speak right now. So when we eventually leave Nigeria, we will still have so many documents that we have to untangle, unbundle. But with the politicians in the next 541 days back down, that is the question. Ninas versus 2023 general election, the 1999 disputed constitution. Everybody needs to sign the referendum. Very, very important if you haven't done so. You must sign the referendum, and you can check them out at the Ninas official website, www.ninasffn.org. That will give you the background. Let's come back to the conversation. You're still watching Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK. I'd like to appreciate my producer, Frank and Archie. And those of you, our listeners, that have stayed with us for the last 4 years of this program. Once again, good evening, good morning. We are living in different parts of the globe. Ninas request you to help intensify the signing of the ongoing Ninas referendum petition, by which Ninas December 16, 2020 constitutional force majeure proclamation is addressed to the United Nations Security Council. So it is not that the UN is not aware about all these. The UN has been given so much information, and they are being told the stages from what I was told that Ninas has to go to do before we get to the final stage yesterday. So Ninas has been engaging the United Nations for a very long time. Let me see if I can bring something up on the screen behind me, if I can quickly get it. Good evening to somebody watching, no, listening to me rather, on the Mixer Live. So there's this. Okay, I've seen it. Let's see if I can change the background so that you can have an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's see. Once again, a very good evening as you're all joining us on this episode of Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK. It's all about us Should we continue with Nigeria? Politicians want us to continue with one unitary Nigeria, but so many indigenous territory are saying we've had enough of Nigeria. It is time we close the shop. So what I'm about to show us now will give us a kind of a template of where we are with Ninas. So it's a template. Once again, I welcome you as we are all settling into the program. It's about 1 hour away before we bring the program to an end at exactly 8 p.m. I'm not sure if we can see it properly, but I've got it behind me. And let's see. All right. It's right behind me now. So I'm going to read a little bit about it and then we go back into that press statement. Good evening again to all of my mothers that are watching from different parts of the globe. So what I have here says Nina's movement, the process. The process. Number one, repudiation of the 1999 Constitution. I've got there, tick, is gone. Number two, constitutional force majeure. I've got that tick. Transition is what we're going to be expecting soon. Referendum and plebiscite is what we're going to be expecting soon. And then a new constitutional order. So that is the process. The final decommissioning the defunct Federation of Nigeria. Do you think the politicians will agree with it? That is the question I'm asking us. Do you think our politicians, whether from the southeast, the northern part of the country, will really want us to come out of Nigeria? So the background that I've just showed you is the step, It's 6 minutes past. And once again, I'd like to appreciate my producer, Frank and Archie. It is still Starr Radio UK. Follow us on all our Twitter handle. To all the presenters, tomorrow is the property hour. Make sure you join. And again, there's a lot of programs, but the best way to listen to us is to follow us on our social media handle, Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Number four, in this period following August 18, 2021, let the campaign to persuade the political parties. How do you persuade the members of the APC in Agege, the members of the APC in Ogun State, the members of the APC in any part of the country to close the shop? Do you think they can close the shop? Good evening to you, Adeyemi. Good evening, King Lawal Adewale. Good evening to all our royal fathers in the Yoruba land. How do we persuade our APC, PDP, Kowa Party, AFGA, all these political parties to close the shop forthwith for the reason outlined a year in before? This will bring us to Domino 2 and the transition threshold, which I just told you earlier on. The transition threshold. So we've done the number one, we've done the number two, the number three is what we're expecting now. Good evening to you, Fatima Mustafa. Yoruba Nation now not going back. This will bring us to Domino 2 and the transition threshold participating, the referendums we seek. And number 5, which is the last one. With the defeat of the 1999 Constitution, remember we have, each of the states trying to amend, work on the Constitution. But can we really change a Constitution? Can we amend it? Can we twist it? What do you suggest? What do you think? Is that possible? Once again, it's Starr Radio UK. What has actually happened with all these amendments, Constitution? Are they working on it? I saw the president sign the PIB into law. What do you think about it? Are you happy with the situation in Nigeria? Or do you think it's time for us to peacefully get a new referendum and opt out of Nigeria to form a new alliance with other countries. UAE have decided no more visa on arrival for Nigerians. How do you take that? Let's finish this off. With the defeat of the 1999 Constitution and the spirit of transitioning prescribed in the December 16, 2020, Nina's constitutional force majeure proclamation, all governments in the alliance territory, so whether you're in Lagos, in Osun State, in Ekiti, in Kwara, Kogi, are invited to brace up and take charge of and responsibility for the safety, economic welfare of their people, making appropriate legislation and regulation to step into roles and previously denied them on the prohibited by the fraudulent and now disputed 1999 Constitution, especially by 68-item federal exclusive legislative list. Do you know what about that? Good evening, Olaya Muhyiddin. Good evening, Majid Saka. List that constitution pending when former transitional mechanisms are worked out. Power belongs to the people. Thank you for your attention, Professor Stephen Banji Akintoye, Chairman NINAS, August 17, 2021. Good evening, Faith Blessing. So now that I've been able to give you this background, let's now start looking at what are the politicians preparing as well for 2023. Current PDP leadership can't win election in 2023, according to Wike. Governor Wike of Rivers State, you know that there's a lot of tussle going on between, the PDP as well. The Rivers State Governor, Nelson Wike, said the present National Working Committee, NWC, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, cannot lead the party to victory in 2023 general elections and call for a replacement of the leadership. So you can see that the politicians are not interested in what NINAS is saying or what the indigenous territory owners are saying. So what is going to happen eventually in the next 541 days from today? According to Mama Ronke Wurola says, those Fulanis will not give us referendum, but you know what will take it by force. So Wike is also saying, well, with the PDP National Working Committee, there's no way we're going to win the next election. We heard as well, the River State APC chieftain says, election cannot be won by APC. So what is actually going to happen? Power belongs to the people, by the people, for the people. Freedom comes to those who fight, but not to those who cry. Those who are crying, or those who cry, is the more our people will continue to die. So let's rise up and defend our right. True liberty begins in our mindset. Oduduwa nation only, according to Oyekon. What is going to happen in 2023 is about 541 days. Are you worried? Are you concerned? Given all the information with the terrorists, 2023, this is another headline some 10 hours ago. Tinubu loyalists kick as all progressive Congress. Nigeria is going through a lot. This consideration is already to displeasure of the loyalists of the former Lagos State Governor and the APC national leader, Bola Tinubu, who have insisted that a Christian candidacy cannot work. You can see that there's a lot of tussle already going on among the APC and the PDP. So what do you expect? Let's now touch on some of the headlines coming out of Nigeria this evening, and then at 7:30, it's going to be everything about Yoruba Nation. Once again, welcome to Starr Radio UK. your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Good evening to you, Omolola Grace. Good evening to you, Ojo Omotayo. Solo Honors, good evening to you. Quite a lot is going on. There's a lot of conversation out there. People are debating, people are talking, whether you agree or disagree. But in the next 541 days, everything will come out. Everything will come out. Whether it is self-determination, whether it is going to be another election, whether it's going to be a standstill, all that will come out in the next 541 days. Let's just take a short interlude and listen to my favorite, Agaga, Yoruba Jimasu. I'll be giving you some of the headline later on coming out of Nigeria today. But let's listen to Agaga. Many injured as robbers attack bullion van in Osun State today. Many people have been injured as robbers attack bullion van, in Ondo State rather. Again, just like we are discussing, APC to hold their LG Congress September 4. Nigeria, Saudi Arabia strengthen partnership in the drug war. Nigeria, Bulgaria to sign MOU on defense cooperation. These are part of the headline coming out of Nigeria today. Let's go back to Agaga. According to someone says, how sure we don't know that Boko Haram wouldn't have taken over Abuja before 2023. Nobody knew Taliban were coming back as of last week. Now they're in full control and every foreigner is trying to get out as quickly as possible out of Afghanistan. Somebody said we must carry Showore along. It's a very good product for Yoruba nation. I'm sure, like I always say, this is a moving train. People will join, people will come off, people will decide when the time comes. But like I always say, let everyone do what they have to do now. Showore is doing his own best with revolution now. The Yorubas are doing their own best. The Biafra, the Middle Belt. But one thing we know is Nigeria is a crime scene. What we must understand is the situation in Afghanistan is teaching us a new lesson in the history of this war. Taliban is now in full control. We have ISIS, we have ISWAP currently in Nigeria, and I can tell you that they are not going anywhere yet. Why has UAE decided to exclude Nigeria out of so many countries on visa on arrival policy? Are we not doing enough? Do we not have good relationship anymore with Dubai or UAE, United Arab Emirates? What happened to the fate of so many Nigerians that are working, living in UAE today? Are you planning to go to UAE? Good evening, Taiwo, Banuso. Or Hausa military takeover, that's coming from Mamadou. Do you think that there might be a coup before 2023? We have to put everything on the basket. What happened if another coup comes up? This is 18th of August, 2021, 18 minutes past 7 p.m. This is Starr Radio UK. What do you think is going to happen should the military decide to take over again? Judge available to sign the release of Igbowo's associate, according to the report coming. This music is making sense. True talk. Let's hear a little bit more. Are you aware what total figure that Nigeria lost investment in the last 10 years? Can somebody guess before I give you, the real result? Let's see if somebody have an idea. In the last 10 years, can somebody tell us, due to non-passage of the PIB, what we lost already? Or maybe if you've seen the headline, you might be able to tell me. Once again, we need to understand that the situation in Nigeria is getting dicey on a daily basis. $50 billion investment got lost due to the non-passage of the PIB. What do you understand by the PIB? Blame past administration for lack of political will to transform petroleum sector. Give Sylvia-led committee 12 months to oversee implementation of the Petroleum Act. I call it the increment of the devil. We are the 6th largest. We are not producing, we are extracting it, and another country is helping us to produce it. President Muhammadu Buhari has disclosed that Nigeria lost an estimate $50 billion worth of investment in 10 years due to the uncertainty of the non-passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill known as PIB, lack of progress, stagnation in the petroleum sector. He also did not spare his predecessors, who he accused of not having the political will to transform the petroleum industry in the last 2 decades. This is just as the president gave the 9-man steering committee headed by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Sevier, constitute to oversee the implementation of the new Petroleum Industry Act. 12 months to complete its assignment. But this government is going as well, or they might be coming back, or the Yoruba is saying, no, no one is coming back, and that is part of what we've been discussing. In that's about 9 minutes, we'll be talking about everything about Yoruba nation, where we are, what is going on, and what should we know more. But before that, let us hear what our good brother has always said to us when it comes to the election in Nigeria. INEC, precisely. Should we trust INEC? Mr. Koiki, this is exactly what I've been saying, that our Yoruba politicians are so stubborn. They are not ready to comply with us because of their own selfish interests. So what do we do with them? Let's hear what Pastor Paul Adefarasi had to say.
I've mentioned economy, I've mentioned culture. We've got to go into politics and government deliberately. By the way, if we don't fix some of Nigeria's problems today, that is this INEC problem. And say it plainly, INEC put me in trouble if you...
Is INEC our problem? Is the 1999 constitution that is now a dispute our problem? Or the making up of Nigeria between 1914 of the amalgamation, or the independence that came up in 1960, or the 1953 when some individuals say they were not interested for us to have independence? Which one are you going with or aligned with? This is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Gandude, the governor of Kano State, said there is no referendum in our constitution. Yes, we know that, but you can demand that from the United Nations. Self-determination is allowed under the law of AU, African Union chapter, and then self-determination is also something that is not a crime.
You like, it is a fraud. The numbers in Nigeria, as far as census are concerned, and as far as election is concerned, are a lie. And if nobody will speak up about it, the righteous will speak. And our righteousness is not of ourselves, it is of Him, and He will protect. Hallelujah. It is important. It is skewed now so that where the numbers are not properly reflected in our voting. This is the only country in West Africa where you move from the ocean to the desert and the numbers decrease, or rather, they increase. It's the only country in the world where you move from a large body of water to little or no water and the numbers increase. It was not Nigerians that started it. It was the parents of Nigeria who were not good parents. They were not good parents. The man, Lord Lugard, was a devil incarnate. And what he did to this country, we're suffering it many years later, and it's time that we must tell the truth. It's time we must tell the truth. It's absolute, we must.
What is going to happen 541 days before the next general election? Justin Rilson says Ganduje, the governor of Kano State, is probably one of the favorite being positioned to replace Buhari. Laughable indeed. Wow. I didn't know that. I thought El Rufai was in the position. Yaya Bello is also trying to say, I am here. Yaya Bello is the current governor of Kogi State. He is also interested to become the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, while so many people like myself and millions of Yorubas and the Biafra, the Middle Belt says, political party, close your shop. Pastor Paul Adefara says, INEC is a fraud. Our elections are all lie. And Lord Lugard was devil in incarnate. Let's hear more from him.
Those of you who benefit from the system, when the judgment comes, unless you extricate yourself in the righteousness of God, that's your own problem. You understand? And if you're in the system, you should behave like Robin Hood. Take from them and give it to the poor. You should have less so that they can have more. I have that sword in my office, the sword of Lord of Locksley, Robin Hood. Why? Because part of my job is to make sure that the wealth of Nigeria
is the wealth of Nigeria being well distributed? Do you think that the wealth of Nigeria is being well distributed today? 774 local government, 30,000 naira minimum wages. So many states have refused to even pay full wages, not to talk about 30,000 naira. A bag of rice, as we speak today, is between 30 and 36,000 naira. Transportation is becoming more expensive. The PIB, what does it make to a layman in Agege or somewhere in Oshodi, Mushi, or in your own constituency in Ekiti, in Ondo State, Kwara, Kogi, Osun State, or your state, Ogun State? What does it mean when they talk about the PIB that we have lost them 50 billion US dollars? The one that we have not lost in the past, what has it done to an average Nigerian today at home? Education, security. These are some of the issues that we have been discussing on a daily basis. It's just 3 minutes before 7:30, and like I said, at 7:30, I'll be giving you all the tweets of Ilana Modua. I'll be telling you more about the Biafra. I'll be telling you everything that we need to know when it comes to Yoruba Nation now. But let's hear more from Pastor Paul Adefarasi.
distributed with an evenness. How do you do it? Not by giving the poor rice and oil at election time. Give them an education. And education in today's age does not have to be formal.
Education today does not have to be formal. Do you agree as well? A lot of people think until you go to university, you are, a chartered accountant, a doctor, a surgeon. We can also have technical education that will support so many of our brothers and sisters. But Nigeria have failed to do so. Freedom. Is this something that we have to fight for it? Let's hear this from one of our brothers. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. We are champion, but we are no longer champion. Good evening to you, Fatai Ogumefu. God will continue to scatter our politicians. They shall all turn their weapons against themselves. Amen. Oh, this is by Babatokwe Martin. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. Stand up for your freedom. Stand up. Stand up. We must stand up for our freedom. Biafra, stand up for your freedom. Middle Belt, stand up for your freedom. As we go into the final segment, once again, my view, not the view of Starr Radio UK, as we say all the time. Stand up. October 20 will be 1 year that the NSAS massacre took place at the Lekki toll gate. More than 100 innocent Nigerians were killed. Till date, some parents do not even have access to the dead body. Stand up for your right. Stand up. You are champion. Champion. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Once again, it's 7:30 from here. I say good evening. This is Niger Voices every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. As we're going to be giving you some of the tweets from Ninas from Ilano and also a bit from the Biafra, I say good evening and welcome. Did you hear the news during the week that the federal government of Nigeria was planning to proscribe Ilana Omodua as well? What was your take on that? Yesterday was the Nina's World Press Conference. We told you about that. You can also follow Nina's on Twitter at Ninas_CFN, known as the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination. Ninas is the Alliance of Indigenous Nationality from the Middle Belt to the South. Do follow them on Twitter so that you can get all the latest news and the updates. Suspend sales of arms to Nigeria for undermining democracy. That was part of the Nina's tweet some few days ago. I'm giving you some of the tweet from Ilana Omodu as well. Governor of Zamfara, fine bandit. Governor of Bauchi, fine bandit. Governor of Kaduna, fine bandit. Citizens, fine killer herdsmen. Buhari's police, army, DSS, with the help of American intelligence, cannot find bandit and Fulani herdsmen. Have you not thought about that? Why is it that the government cannot find the terrorists, but they can find individual Nigerians wherever they are? Why is it difficult to win the war on these killer terrorists across Nigeria? 7:32 p.m. as we continue to look at what is trending on Twitter. But before then, we're going to be telling you everything. Afghanistan is really on fire as we speak right now. So many people are worried. So many have fled. Mostly the diplomats. According to Ilana Omodua, I hope you are all following the Afghanistan happenings, the making over and the renaming into Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. That is the fate that awaits Nigeria until our existence is seized. Hashtag think again, Odudua law. Do you believe that the situation playing out in Afghanistan by the Taliban can also happen with the ISIS, ISWAP, Boko Haram that are currently in Nigeria, but the Nigerian government cannot find them, but rather the ones that the Nigerian government find would like to surrender and say Nigerians should please forgive them? Should we forgive the terrorists that have created havoc and killed millions of Nigerians? Let's look at some of more tweets from Ilana Omo Odua diaspora. Taliban has taken over Kabul, the capital city of Afghanistan. One day, Boko Haram will take over Abuja, but before then, Yoruba nation would have left the frauderia. Frauderia. Also, please do not sign this 419, as it's called in Nigeria, the Maradona evil individuals that have put together a website that is collating and asking that they will support you financially only for you to be signing your otherwise opposite of what Yoruba Nation wants. So please be mindful of that link if you come across it. Let's take a few more from the tweet. Afghanistan is live. Case study of what is about to happen in the contraction Nigeria if we don't go for self-determination. In the South, have you signed the NINA's demand for referendum? How many of you have signed it? How many people have not signed it? This is part of what is going to give us the petition to United Nations to conduct a referendum for leave or stay. It is not by force. The marriage is no longer working. It is not durable. We have been, going into extinction. The genocide is going on in Nigeria. We take one more from the tweet and then we go into some of the other news around the Yoruba Nation. Ilanamoduwa diaspora, yet killers of Nigerians and Nigerian soldiers have been flown around in military aircraft as repentant terrorists. It is really not the fault of these guys. It is the fault of the southern slaves who don't see anything wrong with these disparities. Do you agree? If you have not signed that petition, please do so now. Let's now look at some of the other news that is trending on Twitter. Big Brother Nigeria is now number one. Interesting. Just curfew subsists, Plateau governor warns. I'm sure you're following the situation in Plateau State where 22 Yorubas were murdered. So many atrocities, so many crimes is being committed on a daily basis in the fraud Nigeria. Four people have been arrested by Navy stowaway in Lagos. Immigration officer assault Ibadan North local government chairman Honorable Yusuf Saheed Oladayo, popularly known as Agba Egbe, opened fires at the gate area in Ibadan, Oyo State. These are the situation in Nigeria on a daily basis where security operatives have become a demigod. The video that I'm watching says immigration officer assaulted Ibadan North local government chairman Honorable Yusuf today in Ibadan. Opened fire at innocent citizen, not minding should that bullet penetrate into someone, just like the Lagos State government and the police commissioner of Lagos State killed Jumoke. Remember 3rd of July 2021 during the Lagos State mega rally. UN likes to reward bad manners. Do you agree with that? That is coming from Amaka Ekwewe at _Amaka_Ekwewe. UN likes to reward bad manners. Do you think that Ninas will get all the support needed from United Nations? What more can be done with the Yoruba Nation? A lot of protesters are still being held in Abuja. The G49 that were taken away during that protest, or rally rather, peaceful rally in Lagos, have now been released officially. Good evening to you, Men's Corner. Welcome. We are just about 20 minutes before the end of today's program. And like I always say, Yoruba Nation is not going back. Nigerians disapprove of the Central Bank of Nigeria decision to freeze the bank account of some fintech companies. Why is the government always against tech in Nigeria? And part of the reason why we must all, as the indigenous owner of the land, start thinking about way out of Nigeria. Hashtag we stand with Chief Sunday Igboho. Hashtag we stand with the 12 people detained by the DSS. Hashtag Yoruba Nation, no going back. Once again, a very good evening as we are just about 20 minutes away. Let's find to play a little bit more of Freedom, Freedom by Obatokpe Martins. I'm going to be giving you a bit of sound bites of what took place during that Nina's World Press Conference yesterday after this Freedom, Freedom by Obatokpe Martins. I will stand for freedom. I will stand for human rights. I will stand for the nation. I will stand for freedom. I will stand for justice. Once again, a very good evening and welcome. 2023, 541 days. The situation in Nigeria is very alarming, according to Ade. Let's now listen to part of the just about 2 minutes 20 seconds of the World Press Conference from Ninas yesterday. This is it.
That the Nigerian has collapsed. B, that we do not have a constitution at the moment, since the 1999 constitution has been repudiated and has been rejected countrywide. C, that the National Assembly cannot, by amendment, cure the fraud called the 1999 constitution, and so must stop its present pretense that all is well with the Nigerian Union. That the National Assembly must halt the current constitutional amendment exercise and genuinely join the search for solutions to the dying Nigerian Union. That a grand meeting of the constituent components has been inevitable, and that the constituent components of Nigeria must at such a meeting first agree to form a union, that is, they must agree to federate, before undertaking the task of settling the terms of that union. These somber and profound postulations were made in a recent BBC interview by the spokesperson of the CNG, or the Coalition of Northern Groups, Abdulaziz Suleiman. The link is available on the sheet for you. So, bearing the accuracy of the ultra-conservative, the coalitions of Northern Groups clearly indicate that a countrywide consensus regarding the viable options for the dismantling and grand reconfiguration of the current unworkable unitary union of Nigeria has thus emerged. Happily, the comprehensive framework for undertaking the well-articulated prescriptions of the Coalition of Northern Groups in the aforementioned BBC interview are contained in the December 16, 2020 Constitutional Force Majority Proclamation.
Well, once again, that was the few bits from the World Press Conference that eventually went ahead yesterday. I'd like to welcome us as we are just about 15 minutes away I want to see if I can bring this up. Remember these? I'm sure you all remember these.
Livestock. Livestock. National livestock. I was talking about. He doesn't know. Yes, these are all directed at the president. So corruption, yes, let me. You can talk for yourself.
This was the debate that took off on the NTA live broadcast just before the 2019 general election, where the president and the vice president had their first turn, and questions were put to the president. And as you can tell, the vice president kept on saying he doesn't know.
Another opportunity to do another program. Why? Well,
And it seems the president just doesn't know. As we are coming up to the end of this program in just about 15 minutes, I'd like to remind every one of us that Star Radio UK, you can watch us Monday to Sunday, and tomorrow will be the property hour. Make sure you tune in and be part of it as well. But the Yoruba nation, that is the self-determination, it's not just by the Yorubas anymore. We also have the Northerners that are now also speaking up and demanding an opt. Let's hear what Abdulaziz Sulaiman, the coalition of the Northern Group, had to say.
Now, what we have is the Southwest now also agitating for self-determination. The Southeast is also agitating for determination, for self-determination. But the National Assembly is deliberately avoiding that issue and going ahead with a constitutional review that will still not solve the problem. That's why we filed a suit before the Federal High Court in Abuja. We joined the National Assembly, the Attorney General, and separately.
Okay, I'm just reading a comment here that the Fulani visited Akbomo today and sprayed chemical in the community that killed 7 people in a single house. So rest in peace.
And Speaker of the House of Representatives. What we were praying for is for the court to order a halt of the constitutional review exercise.
Again, Abdul Aziz Sulaiman of the Coalition of the Northern Group is also saying the same line with Minas, that they've gone to the court to halt the constitutional review because it is not going to help the situation on the ground. 1947, I say kudos to my producer, Archie and Frank. It is Star Radio UK. Good evening to everyone. Good morning if you're watching from a different part of the globe. Good night if you're listening to us or watching us in Australia. But here in London, where we are transmitting from, it's coming up to 8 p.m.
Direct the National Assembly to organize or get the president, the executive, or even the international community to come in and organize what we want to what should be the referendum peacefully for any unit of the country that says it does not want to be Nigeria. I mean, that there's no point forcing it into being something it doesn't want to be. And we were not only concerned about Biafra, we said any unit, because you see this issue of Nigeria for quite long now, the truth has emerged that.
Let's read some of your comments as well. Those of you watching us, let's mute these. Those of you watching us on Star Radio UK. Nigeria is part of a union. The governor should not be myopic. That is coming from Taiwo. Olariwaju says, support the breakup of Nigeria now. There is nothing left to do than this signing the petition for referendum. Nigeria election is a cost. Henceforth forbidding election cannot solve Nigerian problems. Neither will it help to bring on board the good people. Shutting down the system is urgently needed at this time. Let's hope our people at home will listen as well. Anthony Adedeji said, good. Uh, Akalaka. I hope, sorry, I didn't, massacre the name. I will just say Francis. It is not going to be easy to convince the political parties, but we have to do something possible to stop them. Idowu Olawale says, Yoruba nation, no going back. We're just reading some of your comment there. Also, no election in 2023. Biafra nation, Yoruba nation now. Now. No retreat, no surrender. Francis says, no going back. Good day to you. Good big brother. Good evening to you as well. Olale Kwanetonji says, is that a fruit of basket? I would love to have that after the program. Olanrewaju Ahmed, well done, sir. Thank you very much as well. Also, Olale Kwanetonji says, welcome, brother. Good evening to you. Kodri, good evening to you. And Taiwo Olajide says, let Yoruba Nation self-determination and Biafra be campaigning at the same time when the APC, and let's say who's going to win. Let's hear more from what Abdulaziz Sulaiman, the coalition of the Northern Group, was telling the BBC.
Even you can see most African countries have given jobs, the names given by the colonial masters and adopted their native names. So I don't think we reason that why can't we do the same in Nigeria? Let us sit. If all of us agree to be Nigeria, then we agree we are Nigerians. We agree we want to continue with that name Nigeria. If not, we change the name. And then we are people. We are people. We don't have to be forced to do things. So that's just what
Did you hear what he has to say? That we don't have to be forced to be Nigerians. If we do not want to be part of Nigeria, we should not be forced to be Nigerians. But it doesn't seem to go well with our politicians that still believe that they will take us to the next election.
Anybody go? We are saying
the information, which of the platform, you said this BBC, there's a lot of them. Can you expatiate a little bit more on that information you gave earlier? We are just about almost less than 5 minutes before I hand over back to my producer back in the studio. This is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And being a host in the last coming up to 2 hours, my name is Olayomi Koiki. And likewise, you can follow me on all my social media handles where we continue to discuss and talk about the Yoruba nation on a daily basis, educating the youth back home, and more reason why we must opt out of Nigeria. Just like the UK opt out of EU after 35 years of a marriage that never worked. We can do the same thing, and we will not stop doing so as well. This program comes live every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can also be part of the program. If you like to sponsor the program, get in touch with my producer. Or if you like to also let us have information that you want us to share, email, and I'll be able to look into it as well. Once again, as we're just about some few minutes before I hand over back to my studio, and let me just give you a little bit more from what Abdulaziz Sulaiman was telling us. Yes, I know it's BBC. Okay, BBC Yoruba. Thank you very much.
Get to the root of this thing. Let's have a referendum. Perhaps the laws we didn't vote out. Then we'll call it quits. That's what we're saying. We're not saying we're not particular. We only referred to Biafra because it's been the one that has taken too long and recently becoming violent, which means the desperation is there. And you and I know that no amount of review of the Constitution can change that.
Okay, I've seen the video. Thank you very much, Ade, for that information. Really appreciate it.
We have the right to do that, which is what we are exercising. We don't need the consent of the northern elite.
Let me quickly talk on that before I hand over back to the studio. Should we get worried now that maybe the Fulanis are now going into houses and putting out a kind of a chemical, into individual homes and then killing individuals as well? Again, everyone as well that have family back home, let us continue to warn and advise them of the danger of the Fulanis around their areas, whether the Fulani that have been living with them or the strangers that is also coming closer to them as well. All these are something that we must see it say it, salted. When we see it, we must say it, and when we say it, it's definitely going to be salted. But when you see something and you do not say it, it will definitely not be salted. And that is what I'll be advising as I'm going to be handing over in just few minutes back as well. A country where injustice becomes the norm, resistance is inevitable. That is coming from Amayo. Thank you very much. Olusheyi says Yoruba nation no going back. As we're going to be handing over back to the studio now, I will say this time next week, we'll be back again with a different conversation. And I hope the conversation continue on our Twitter handle. Follow me on all my social media handles where we will continue the conversation on Ninas, the political parties gladiator, the election 2023. Who should we expect? I'll send you a video to you on what. Please check it out. Okay, I'll look at that later. Like you to do a program on it, boss. Okay, I would love to look at that. Musba Lawal, thank you very much. And on that note, 1954, it's been a good evening. And let me play the last track that we've got here for you before I will hand over back to the studio. Kudos to every one of us that are working tirelessly. Also, quickly before I, almost forgot that there's quite a lot of peaceful rally coming up during the United Nations General Assembly next month. There's going to be one that will be held on the 14th and the 15th of September. If you're in New York, Washington, D.C., rather, please do make yourself available as well. Likewise, there's going to be a big mega rally here in London on the 1st of October. Likewise, there's a 2 weeks lockdown of New York during the 74th General Assembly, where we expect millions of us to turn out with our placard and demanding a total referendum to opt out from Nigeria as well. So make sure you contribute and make sure you get involved with some of the organizers as well. Thank you very much, Augustine Joseph. Good evening to you, Benga Kazim, and likewise Moses. Good evening as well. So that will be from me, and then I'm just getting ready to give it back to the studio. I will be giving you this particular final track from me this evening. Let's hear from Wasiu Alabi Ajibola, known as Akobi Oshupa worldwide. Thank you very much, Awe Okoyemidada. Thank you very much, Alibokun. Thank you very much to every one of you on YouTube. P. Willie on, thank you very much. And thank you to everyone that have stayed tuned to this edition of Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK. Once again, thank you very much to my mother and also my big mom in US. I say thank you very much as well for watching this edition of Starr Radio UK. And on that note, I say thank you all. Join me again, next week. But tomorrow I'll be on Starr Radio UK, the morning show, when I'll be giving you all the news update on Nigeria tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Please join me as well. Cole, thank you very much. No more one Nigeria. Nigeria is gone. And just as I say, bye from me now until next week, Wednesday, Niger Voices.
Akọni tó yọ nílé ohun tó ń bá ní sílẹ̀ lójú ogun. Ọmọ lápẹ̀dá lágbára.
níwọ̀n bá yóò ṣe níwájú ìbò ojú tó ti rókun tó dẹ̀tún ti rọ́ṣàrì má fi wé ti yẹ tó ń wò lóye tirẹ̀ bàbá ní padà kọ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ tó bá bí kì í mú nǹkan ogun kó tó lè ṣẹ́rí ogun fúnra lọ́lọ́run ló dẹ̀ ṣe lákọ̀ọ́ni kò dẹ̀ sí lówó bí wọ́n tún léèyàn ṣe ìṣesí ẹbí takọni náà ni olóríire èèyàn ní Sunday kò akọni Olúwa gbogbo lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Akọni Olúwa gbogbo lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Akọni Olúwa gbogbo lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọmọ ńlá mo pe fún Sunday kò ìbò òòṣà owó bàbá dání. Bóyá tí mo bá ní kò òòṣà ẹ sọ fọkùnrin ogun ọmọ májàsọlá ìjàgbọ̀n ìrọ̀rùn tó ń bá ní ìjàgbá ní rẹ o.
Thank you very much, everyone. This is where we're going to bring the program to an end. My name is Olayomi Koiki, and I'll be back again same time next week. Bye for now, every single one of you on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, MixLR. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I'm sure there'll be other programs that you can catch up with the next media as well. Bye for now. Yeah, I didn't get any signal from you. I didn't realize that you know it's turned off already. Okay. Oh, okay. I was kind of wondering what's going on because I didn't see any. Yeah. All right then. Okay. Okay, I'll do so. All right then. All right. Okay. All right. I'll speak to you. All right. Cheers. Bye bye now. Bye.